Hey yo, it's me, Alex from Longest Cosplays. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are having a good day so far. It's been a minute since I've recorded a video. I do have one in progress, I believe. Um, or I have a few in progress. Like, I have a bunch of ideas written down. But it's been a minute since I actually recorded one. Um, and, this is, you can read the title here. These are the 10 books I would never part with. This was inspired by two great people, Matt Likes Comics and Chonko. Both amazing channels. If you're not watching them, please do. They're some of the best channels in the comic book YouTube scene. Both great people. I love watching their shows when I can. And they both took part of this challenge to see if they could narrow down to 10 books that they would save in like a house fire or something. Which, let's hope that doesn't happen. That would suck. That would really be unfortunate. Yeah, these are 10 books I would save in a fire. If it came down to that. And if you're wondering, which you're probably not, but Captain America Epic Collection. This is Bucky Reborn by Stan Lee and Gene Colan. I like picking up these Epic Collections. These are really nice to have, especially for characters I don't read too much. Like I have one for Ant-Man, Daredevil, 2 for Ghost Rider, and I think just this one for Captain America. And I also have a Epic Collection for Rom, which was really good. First 20 issues. It was awesome. Highly recommend these. But let's get into the video here. Starting off, Green Lantern, Volume 2, number 29, released in April of 1964. This is the first appearance of the Black Hand. This guy right here, first appearance of Black Hand here. A really solid Silver Age Green Lantern story. Obviously, if you've read the Jeff Johns run and even into the New 52, you know he's a crucial character in the Blackest Night saga. He goes on to lead the Black Lantern Corps of Death. Great story right here. Highly recommend it. I got this at the Charlotte Minicon, which is put on by the same people that do the Heroes Convention in June. Usually on Father's Day weekend, but I think they pushed it up this year. It's from the 12th to the 14th. I will be there. So feel free to say hi to me, and I'll be doing a video on that as well. And I'll be doing a video at Charlotte Comic Con this Sunday, in Concord. So if you see me there, say hi. But yeah, I got this at the Charlotte Minicon last year. I paid full price for it. I wasn't even intending to get like the highest grade possible. I just saw this and it's in decent enough shape. I haven't even taken it out of the bag. Like I take the boards out to like write the information on the back, but I have not like touched the book myself with my own hands. So I don't know what the inside of this thing looks like. It could be bad. I don't know. But, you know, from what I have seen, you know, it seems complete, you know, and everything. But it presents really goddamn well. So, you know, first appearance of the character that is, you know, pretty important to one of my favorite DC storylines, you know, I had to have this. So, that's why that would be saved. This next one here, Amazing Spider-Man, Volume 2, number 529, came out in February of 2006. This is the first appearance of the Iron Spider costume. This one was a great gift from Johnny over at Johnny's Comic Stuff. He had this book on his channel in one of his videos, and I left a comment saying, you know, this is one of the ones I need, and I've been trying to hunt a decent copy for a minute, because I'm trying to get the first appearances of all the Spider-Man costumes. So, like, I have Cyborg Spider-Man's first appearance, first Spider Armor, 2099 Scarlet Spider. I believe I have the first Sensational, you know, just all of the first appearances of Spider-Man's iconic costumes. And Iron Spider was one that I needed. And I really, really wanted to try getting it this year because the skin came out in Marvel Rivals, which I play a lot on Nate over at Hall Yaz channel every Friday evening. Most Friday evenings. I'm usually there and you can find me. But Johnny was kind enough to just gift me this book randomly. I didn't ask him to do it, you know, he just sent it to me. And, you know, great guy. If you're not watching his channel, he's really funny, especially on Nate's show, the Tuesday show. He's really funny, and you know, just an overall great guy. So I'm really grateful that he sent me this book. And I usually keep all of the books that people give to me. Even if it's a duplicate, I will trade out my current copy for a gifted copy. You know, I'll figure out something to do with it. But I like to keep all the books that my friends and family give because those are more important because, you know, they thought of me. And that's really nice. This next one, significantly less important. Marvel Premiere, Volume 1, Number 35, first appearance of this guy, the 3D man. He's just one of my favorite, like, niche characters. He's my absolute favorite niche Marvel character. He's a guy that, he lives inside his brother's glasses, and he can materialize. He's 3 times as strong, fast, and agile as a normal human being. And he is actually pretty important in the Avengers: The Initiative storyline with the Skrulls and whatnot, because his successor, also 3D man, but Delroy Garrett Jr., can see through Skrull disguises, and he's pretty crucial to that storyline. But this book is just one of my favorite things ever. It's so like 70s Marvel that it's wonderful, and I plan on cosplaying this guy soon, this year. I still need to like finish just like making the pattern for the costume, but I already have people like lined up for it, so it'll be very fun. And before I even continue, I meant to say this in the beginning, but I'm getting like excited here. A lot of these books I have already shown on Nate's channel over at Hollywood Comics. I will link the show that I appeared on in the description below. It was a great show. It was an amazing show. I'm still ever so grateful to be on there, and I hope they get me back on there one day. It'd be awesome. Nate, hit me up. I have way too much free time. But a lot of these books I did show on Nate's channel, so you're gonna recognize a few of these, and most of these I've also already shown in like previous videos of mine. But these are the 10 books I want to keep with, I want to save in a fire. It just so happens that I've already shown a lot of them. But this next one, my most recent big purchase, Masters of the Universe, number 1 by Star Comics, subdivision of Marvel. This came out in May of 1986. Got a newsstand. And first Marvel He-Man and stuff like that. I got this at the Heroes Minicon this past February, which was awesome. That was a great show. I did a video on that. I'll link it somewhere here. But this was a amazing show, and this was an amazing book. Big He-Man fan. Loved him since I was a kid. I grew up, scouting the internet for new Masters of the Universe, new He-Man movies. And there's like 4 or 5 of them that went unmade. But now we're finally getting one with Nicholas Galitzine and Jared Leto as Skeletor, and now my cat is joining. My cat knows ball. He likes He-Man too. This is my cat, Kal-El. He's on my channel a lot. Oh, and he's gonna try to get my books. So, and he can see my coffee on my desk, so I'm gonna politely put him down so that he doesn't drink that. But, yeah, big He-Man fan, so I had to have this book. And my buddy Wayne at Smashers Comics, we made a pretty good deal on this book. And, again, grateful for that, because I've been going to his booth for years now. This next one, Web of Spider-Man, number 118. This came out in September of 1994. First appearance of Ben Reilly as the Scarlet Spider. And, yeah, again, trying to get all the first appearances of the iconic costumes. And Ben Reilly is also just, like, my favorite alternative Spider-Man. Right next to Miguel. Spider-Man 2099. And you can't go wrong with this book. You can't go wrong. I feel like I overpaid. My buddy Brad, Spectacular Scarlet Spider, tells me that I overpaid for this. And he's the Scarlet Spider expert, so I'm not going to argue with him. So I think I overpaid for this. But it's still cool to have it in my collection, It's still cool to have it here. And it's in pretty good shape, too. Like, it presents really well. I need to put it in a new bag and board. but this is a great book. Ben Reilly, again, one of the best alternative Spider-Man out there. And again, had to have this one. I have these books like sorted in a way that like it's not in any exact order. These are just like the ones that I would save, but I want to talk about. I think I'm gonna do. Yeah, I'll do this one first. This is Green Lantern Volume 2, number 87. Came out October 1971. This book needs no introduction. This is the first appearance of John Stewart. Not only one of the most iconic members of the Green Lantern Corps, but one of the most famous black superheroes of all time. Probably the most famous, next to Black Panther. I got this for my birthday 2 years ago. I actually bought it on my birthday. While I was at work. I was on the clock when I bought this. I'm not joking. Went on eBay. I saw this. I was, and I just kind of got into a bid war. Next thing I know, I won. And yeah, now I have this book. And as a huge Green Lantern fan, Hal is my favorite Green Lantern of all time. I think I've mentioned this. I think I've mentioned it. But John Stewart, he's right next to him. He's like one of the best. And I'm so excited to see him in the new Lantern show with Kyle Chandler as Hal Jordan and John Stewart played by Aaron Pierre. I think it's going to be an amazing show. I'm very excited for it, but had to get this one for myself, as a birthday present. It was either going to be this or the first Guy Gardner, which I do also now have. But this was the one that won, because I asked Brad what I should do, because I was already looking at a couple copies of Green Lantern 59, and then he was like, no, Alex, I'm going to tell you right now, get John Stewart, because of the Lantern show, and and I was like, okay, alright, I'll take your word for it, and I don't regret it. Like I said, I was able to get the first Guy Gardner later, and for pretty damn cheap. I actually just looked at my copy. I saved like $95 off the sticker price, which is crazy, but I got this for on eBay for $280. Pretty good condition there. But yeah, amazing book right there. I think we'll do this one next. This is Superman Volume 2, number 123. I don't have the information written on the back like I normally do. I need to update it, because this is in the original bag that I bought it in. This came out like around 1997. May 97. Maybe this is cover dated in May, so I think this came out. What do they usually do? 3 months? Like probably February 1997, somewhere around there. January, February. Either way, first appearance of Electric Blue Superman, and this is the second printing that they did. I have a couple copies of the first printing. One of them is double signed by Dan Jurgens and Ron Frenz, and as much as I love that book, it was a gift to me from my buddy Ethan at Bachiri Miro. God bless his soul, but I would keep this one over that one. If it came down to it, I would keep this one. And you might be wondering why. It's not signed or anything. It's a second printing. This was one of the first comics I bought while I was attending college. With my own money. Free out in the wild at an antique store. In fact, our local antique store. And I don't even remember how much I paid for this. I did not pay. The bag says $28. I did not pay $28 for this. This book is not worth $28. Oh, hi, kitty. Book is not worth $28, but I probably paid like $5, maybe $3. Either way, price isn't important. But this is one of the first books I bought as a freshman in college, and this kickstarted my obsession with the Electric Blue Superman. When Clark had to be put in like a containment suit because his powers changed to be electricity based, which is really cool. It's a really solid niche storyline for Superman. and at some point he also splits off into two, becomes Superman Red and Superman Blue, just like the Silver Age, but with the electricity powers, and it's really cool. But yeah, this kicked off my obsession with Electric Blue Superman, and now I have a pretty good, decent collection of Electric Blue Superman books. I still have a long ways to go to finish off collecting every appearance he has. Like before 2010, I think. Not that he appeared after, probably like 2000, I think. Probably before 2000. We'll say pre-2000. Every appearance pre-2000. But yeah. I just like confused myself. But either way, I'm trying to get most of the appearances from him, and this is the first appearance, second printing, so, you know, happy to have this one. And now we'll go in the order that, these are, like, in actual order, top 3. Like, these are the first 3 I would grab. If my house, knock on wood, catches on, or not knock on wood, if my house were to catch on fire, these are the first 3 I would grab. This right here is Sensational Spider-Man number 2. This came out, March of 1996, I think. That's what it says up here. Graded at a 9.2. This is the first ever graded book I bought, and unfortunately the case is a little bit damaged. My youngest cousin was in here hanging out with me, and she like bumped into my shelf, and this fell. My cat is trying to get onto the boxes, and he knows better than to do that. Look at his cute little face. Look at his cute little face. So at some point I would like to at least replace the case, and I know the damage is only on the case, I know for a fact. So I'd be able to tell if there was any damage to the book itself, which there isn't. You know, it's still in there. But at some point I would like to get a replacement case, or I guess resubmit it. I don't know, I'm not like a CGC expert, so I don't know what the right move here is. And it's been like this for a minute. I just know it's expensive to send stuff to CGC, so I've been holding off on it for a minute. Either way, first ever graded book I bought, and it's actually probably, I guess, one of my favorite stories, even though it's kind of depressing. For most of my life, my grandfather would send me like gift cards, like Visa gift cards or something like that. And you know, he'd send me like a $25, $50, something like that. Prepaid gift cards, and I would use them to, you know, buy, like, most of the time I would use them to like buy games or movies, like online. But the last one he sent me was in 2023, and this was by the time I was like serious into comic book collecting. Like, I'd already, you know, been collecting for probably 3-4 years by that point. So I was pretty serious about it, and I decided, you know what, let me take this book, or let me take this card, because he gave me $50 on a prepaid card, and you know, I was like, you know what, let me buy a graded book. Let me see if I can get a cheap graded book for, you know. And this came up for $40 on eBay, so I was like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll do that. So I bought it. Next thing I know, on Christmas Eve, or it was either Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, I learned that he had passed away. And, you know, that hit me pretty hard, as, you know, it would a lot of people. But this book is special to me because it was the last thing that, by technicality, he bought for me before he, you know, before he left us. So this book is really special to me for that. And every time I look at it, you know, I always say hello to him. But yeah, it's a little bit of a sad story, but you know, that's the way life is, and you know, can't do anything about it. But yeah, really special to me. Never parting with it. This right here is I don't think I even need to introduce this book, but this is Green Lantern Volume 2, number 76. First Denny O'Neil, Neil Adams issue. Iconic cover with the Green Arrow. Shooting the power battery, you love to see it. 4.0, got this at Heroes Con last year. It was the last purchase I had made at the show on the final day. My buddy Jacob watched me, like he was with me buying this, and we had like some banter or whatever. Me and the vendor were like, if I were to get hit by a car right after this, at least I could say I had this book. Which were the exact words that convinced me, okay, yeah, I need to buy this. And it was the best price I'd seen for this book in all the years I've been going to comic book shows. I bought this for $200. Every other copy I've seen, granted in higher grades, has been through the roof in price. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take my chance on this. And yeah. Great book, iconic book. If you haven't read the Hard Traveling Heroes storyline, which this is a part of, they've collected it into so many trades and omnis or whatever. I'm sure you can find one out there. I highly recommend it. It's truly one of the best Green Lantern stories of all time. Just one of the best comic book stories of all time. And number 1... Of course, it had to be Green Lantern Volume 3, Issue 50, first Parallax, first Kyle Rayner as a Green Lantern. Signed by Darryl Banks, remarked to, Death of Kilowog. I've talked about this book, before, and I'll probably talk about it even more, because this book means a lot to me. If you haven't seen my video where I talked about my Green Lantern books, this was, I'll dumb the story, or not dumb the story down, but I'll condense it a little bit here. This was a book that I needed for a long time, because I was collecting the Emerald Twilight storyline, which is 48, 49, and 50 of Volume 3, Green Lantern. And for some reason I wasn't able to find it. Short of, my dad finds it for me. He has powers, he has Jedi powers, he can sense this shit. He got it signed. He got my name written on it, by Darryl Banks, one of the kindest artists on the planet, one of the kindest people on the planet. Love that guy. And this was a gift to me, so means a lot to me. Got this in HeroesCon 2022, from my dad. So naturally, this is the book, the very first book I would even think to grab, to make sure that if my entire collection gets burned or flooded, I at least want this to be preserved, because this is just one of the coolest things anyone has ever done for me. And also, the Emerald Twilight story is pretty good. I like it. And obviously this leads straight into Kyle Rayner's run from 51 to 181. All the way in 2000, 2003, 2004 it ended in. Amazing story right there. But yeah, those are the top 10 books, the 10 books that I would, I'm never gonna part with. I'd save them in a fire, I'm never gonna part with them. Again, inspired by the great and powerful Matt Likes Comics and Chonko. Please check their channels out. I'm gonna leave them in the description below. And everything else I've mentioned so far will be linked in the description below. All the channels and people you should follow. Yeah, thank you for watching. I know a lot of these books, like I said, I've already shown before, but it's like it just so happened that these are the books that I would save, and I already plan on getting them displayed on my wall over there, I guess, or I guess it would be over here where you would see them. I already plan on displaying all of them, so you'll see them in the backgrounds more. But I figured, why not talk about them again? And some of these I haven't shown, or I guess I think I've not really shown one of them. I don't know, but good excuse to talk about the books I like. And again, stories are great. When I watch videos like that, with storytelling, personal storytelling, I really like that, because that's why I love this hobby so much. You get to hear the stories of at least in a lot of the people that I talk to, they remember buying the books on the stands as a kid, or it was like their favorite book they read or something like that. So I love hearing stuff like that because it like motivates me to keep all the books that I liked from when I was a kid. The very few that I have. And I still have them. I want to upgrade them at some point. But again, that's a conversation for a different video. Either way, again, thank you for watching. Be sure to stay tuned for what I have coming up. I have a bunch of video ideas. A lot of video ideas. Written down on my other monitor. And I think you'll like some of them. Most of them are comic book related, but I have some cosplay stuff in the works too. But, yeah, stay tuned for the upcoming videos. Friday night, I'll be on Nate's channel playing Marvel Rivals. Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, I think that's everything I need to say. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye-bye now.